All right, what is up, everybody? 360 in the house, and we are going to do a market video update on crypto. I'm going to do one for Bitcoin, Ethereum. So I haven't been doing a lot of these because really there hasn't been a whole lot of change, but it has been, I think, a couple weeks. So we're going to go ahead and do one. Just kind of take a look at where we are and what we can expect. So September has always been a fairly rugged month for crypto anyways. We've got a lot of fundamental things happening this month with the Fed. 99.9% chance the Fed begins to again reduce interest rates based on the economic data that we have. We've got the Clarity Act, which is starting to make some waves. They're talking about within 3 weeks getting something moved. So there's quite a bit happening right now, but we're going to look at the technicals for Bitcoin, Ethereum. We already know what's coming. We already know where we are. And that is, if you're new, you may not, but I'm going to let you know. Bitcoin no longer has dominance. Ethereum now has the dominance, and will probably keep that for quite some time. And then what is coming in the very near future, probably within the next 2 months, possibly 3, as we see altcoins take dominance. So remember what I said before, Bitcoin losing dominance does not mean Bitcoin is all done as far as its price action. It just means more money is flowing into Ethereum and altcoins than is flowing into Bitcoin. And so that's where we are right now. So this is the macro trend channel going back from the bear market of 2022, where Bitcoin began its slow march, ETF spot release, ascension, and we have that record amount of bear market accumulation way back here. This is something people seem to not remember when they start talking about Bitcoin being done for the cycle and there not being any type of either FOMO volume or distribution volume happening at all, in comparison with any of the previous 2 cycles, which had far less activity, far less players than this cycle. This cycle, of course, exceeds all of them. So to not look at volume is to say you have literally no idea what you're talking about, because you must incorporate what's happening with distribution, buyers and sellers, along with their macro volume. And that's why people keep getting their calls of cycle tops wrong. They tried to call this the top here. They were wrong, incorrect. We called this correctly on this 220-day pullback. And then they did it again here, calling a double top end of cycle. And we knew based on volume once again and the fact that there was no distribution that this was indeed just a pullback and a reaccumulation before we got this ascension. So one more time, we have no distribution, no real distribution volume, even though once again, you're getting people trying to call, again, double top. So guys, just because you see a topping pattern, I want you to understand this. Topping patterns can simply be starting points for pullbacks or corrections, okay? Just like all of these have already in the past. It doesn't, just because you have a topping pattern doesn't mean it's done for the cycle. And that's what I think people are getting wrong. And then none of them are talking about volume at all. So it's like they're completely leaving out half the story. So yeah, once again, you do have some profit taking up here at the 124 all-time high, 124,000 all-time high. And I've got this split up into 2 separate groups. The first half being 48 days of price action. The second half being 55 days of price action. This is the weekly chart, just because when we zoom in, I want you to kind of see where we're at. But I did want to zoom out so you can see macro that right now, Bitcoin is pretty much dealing with the median of the macro trend channel. So we're going to zoom in on this area right here. And I did want you to see where this red horizontal comes from. It comes from the previous price action correction as the divide between the bullish half and the bearish half of that. So when you see this red line, that is where that is. Okay, so we're going to zoom in on this. And we're going to also go to the daily chart here. So there's that horizontal I was talking about, where you had during that last 110-day pullback, reaccumulation. So again, this is the profit-taking portion, normal profit-taking portion, and this would be the reaccumulation portion, okay? And you guys already know about this one here. Profit-taking from here to here, and then this reaccumulation. And this was confirmed not just by the price action, but by the volume, okay? So it's very important that you do not neglect. We've called all of these right. We've ridden many of these on leverage markets. So we continue to get this right time and time again. And now we're kind of in a point where we're seeing people call end of cycle. And a lot of people are mistaking or saying this is end of cycle, the end of cycle high for Bitcoin because it has lost dominance. And that would be a very, very bad mistake because we have two previous cycles that say that's not the case. In both previous cycles, after Bitcoin lost dominance, it made its last final leg up into new all-time highs. So just to kind of give you some perspective to where we'd be looking at the top of this channel, we're now looking at, remember this is an ascending macro top. If this was to hit today, it's not going to. I'm just kind of giving you an example of where this stands. You'd be in the 140s, okay? And 140K was my minimum price target for Bitcoin for this cycle. And my macro bull scenario is 225K. Again, way too early to tell what's going to happen there. But this hitting the top here gets Bitcoin into the 140s. But right now, Bitcoin is dealing with that macro median and this horizontal. Now, this is 103 days combined, okay? And that's why I have this kind of this yellow dynamic horizontal box, because we don't know what's going to happen here. So is Bitcoin going to stay in this macro range, or is Bitcoin going to recapture this horizontal and begin to move higher above the median? And for me, if Bitcoin pushes back above this median and gets some bull action up here, then I think Bitcoin is going to stay bullish above. We don't know yet. So Bitcoin could still be deciding to pull back, and at which case then we might test the lows of this range here with, and this still, again, we don't know because it's still handling this horizontal demand zone. Okay, so unknown. We need to see price action to decide whether it's going higher or lower. Now, regardless of whether it goes lower or higher, my view is that Bitcoin is not done and will be going higher over the next couple months. Possibly even on its last leg of its bull journey for this cycle. But again, way too early to tell. We like to let the market be the market. But right now, we need to see what Bitcoin's going to do in this zone. So Bitcoin has kind of swept the lows of this demand spot down here and has recovered it. So for me, a bullish move back above the median on volume and on strength would tell me that Bitcoin is probably getting close to moving back in all-time highs. But if this zone and, this zone holds up as resistance, then we likely see Bitcoin dip a little lower before moving back up. So we don't know yet. So again, this is a watch and wait point for Bitcoin. Let the market be the market. Let September be September. I mean, everyone knows the rate's getting dropped this month. Expect some knee-jerk volatility, hocus pocus on that. Ultimately, I do believe that the interest rate drop is going to be bullish for markets. A lot of people talking about interest rate drops being very, very bearish, but I don't think so. Every time the S&P has been within 20% of its all-time high and we've got interest rate drops, we've had a continued bull market. Plus, and I want to reiterate, and let me just show it to you. It's very important because this is, something that we have used in the 360 Elite to determine what's going to happen with overall markets. So without a doubt, and no one can deny this, no one can fight it, no one can even debate it, The leading indicator, listen very closely, the leading indicator for all legacy markets, stocks, crypto, has, since 2024, has been gold. I'm going to say it again. The leading indicator for all markets since 2024 has been gold. And look what we've got here, just as I said it would. Gold is now beginning a new march, a new breakout. It has achieved a high around 3,600. And I believe it's going to probably continue to move very quickly to 3,800 over the next few weeks, with an eventual goal of 4K within the next 3 years. Gold, I believe, hits $5,000 per ounce. But we have a new breakout. So for me, that says that is what is coming for all markets. S&P 500, Dow, NASDAQ, and crypto will again resume their all-time high. And in like fashion, we have silver doing the same as I said it would. Get my arrow. There it is. Computer's a little laggy. Yeah, beginning its march to 44. I'm going to zoom out so you can see this a little bit better. Precious metals once again leading. I'm going to zoom out to the weekly. Yeah. This is where silver is headed. It's going to head close to 43.5, 44-ish, and then it's going to move towards its all-time high. So let me see if I can bring that over here so you can see. Yep. So here's that peak here. That's where we're headed. And here's its all-time high up in this category, up in this area right here. Yeah, so this is what we're going to see play out into 2026, probably end of the year into 2026, where silver does hit its all-time high. Now, again, as gold, I believe, hits 5,000 within the next 3 years, I believe silver will hit $100 within the next 3 years. But for now, we're working on silver making it to its all-time high. But again, precious metals leading the market. Precious metals have a new breakout. I do believe very soon we watch stocks and crypto follow. Yep. Absolutely. So that's where we're at there. Ethereum, again, doing what it should be doing. This is why I haven't done a market review video, because there's really nothing new. Okay? We're getting ready to start our third week after what? Testing the all-time high, even breaking a little bit. Yeah, did Ethereum hit a new all-time high? Sure, but we have no real move into blue sky territory. Anyone that thought after this amount of time, this is, let me just break it down for you. Yeah. This is a span, guys, of 1,379 days. Okay? That's 1,379 days. This is its first tap for 1,379 days. Anybody that thought this should just keep going here does not understand how it works. So right now, Ethereum has to deal with this entire price action zone because it really hasn't been dealt with too much. Yep. Just barely here and very quickly. Very quickly. So you don't just, yes, you're going to cross it the first time very fast. Yes. But after that, now Ethereum has to spend some time here because it really hasn't spent any time at all. Now, this is a pretty major breakout. So for me, this is a very nice area of support. If Ethereum does break below this, I think it's going to look like a shakeout and a major liquidation, scaring lots of people. But those that are in spot shouldn't care. It'd be a great buy opportunity. But if this holds up, then we are looking for renewed strength. Yep. And what is coming sooner or later, all you got to do is wait for it, is a real breakout. And what everybody would love to see is a real breakout. And this is what everybody's going to want. They're going to want this to mitigate. So remember, when you have major areas of resistance, such as this one is, then you oftentimes get breakouts, and then what will happen is all of your noobs or people that don't know what they're doing are buying this breakout. So what happens is smart money then pushes price back down. Yep. And what they do is they trap these longs, and then they flush them out, pushing them back down before sending price back up. So smart money's not for you. Institutional money's not for you. So don't be surprised if something like this happens. Or they could, because a lot of people would see this breakout and be like, oh, I'm going to wait for this to pull back and I'll buy it. Smart money could decide to just say, because everyone's expecting this to mitigate. I want you to understand, when you get a breakout, chartists know what I just told you, and that is that many times resistance becomes support. So a lot of people are going to be going, okay, we got our breakout. Now I'm going to wait for price to pull back and buy here. Well, smart money institutions could be like, nope, we're not going to do that. We are just going to drive prices. Yeah, it's why I don't play around with that stuff. That's why, you just buy this, and if you hadn't bought anywhere earlier, and we have major lower entries, so we don't really care about this zone. But anybody else that didn't have Ethereum, I mean, if you're a spot guy, you'd be buying this, and you wouldn't be worrying about the liquidation events, the minor shakeouts and breakouts. You just buy when it's like this, so you don't have to worry about the shenanigans up here. I mean, that's just how it is. Anyway, so that's really what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and take a peek, and we've got to let that play out. You got to let that play out. Ethereum is in a place where it can do, shake more people out, have a liquidation event, or it can just go nuts. We don't know. Either way, this is good price action. Excellent strength into this push here. You can see the volume, excellent strength into this push here. We're getting some normal profit taking, and Ethereum dealing with price action zone that it must deal with. And so I don't understand people freaking out about their altcoins. I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 1,000 times. It's not altcoin season. It's just not. It's accumulation season for altcoins. So enjoy the opportunity that you have to buy. Stop worrying about buying the bottom. Stop being a pansy. Blah, 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 blah. If you know what's coming, you chill, and you handle your business. Bitcoin dominance. Yep. This is the expression of Bitcoin no longer has the reins. And you can see that breakdown here. It has come into a major zone. You can see that zone right here. So Bitcoin dominance is bouncing a little bit here. But this will continue to make new lows as Bitcoin makes higher highs. And I pointed that out to you guys before. This is what I mean. So this is last cycle there. Bitcoin made its all-time, its massive first peak high here. And you can see well after it lost dominance. And by the way, its second peak of last cycle was down in here. So the expression of Bitcoin dominance in comparison to Bitcoin price and it being done for the cycle is a bad idea, as you can see. And this is for every previous cycle. Bitcoin has made final legs, massive runs after it has lost dominance. This is Bitcoin dominance. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, man. So, yeah. All right, and then Ethereum dominance. I mean, this is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. This is the validation that this is Ethereum dominance. You can see its dominance last cycle. And Ethereum currently is the dominant queen that she is. And that doesn't mean this goes straight up. And you can see this is now dealing with this zone. Yep. This zone. And that's where we're at right now. Got that false breakout coming back down into here. Ethereum is going to, when Ethereum makes new all-time highs and is pushing to blue skies, it's going to push. Its dominance is going to push. And once again, to calm the altcoin freaks, let's see. Let's go to altcoin dominance. Yes. Yep. Let me get an arrow so I can point to this. So this is the true expression of AltSeason. because this chart removes the top 10. That means it removes the top 10 by market cap. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the next leading 8 altcoins have been removed. So this chart represents all the rest of crypto. Yep. Let's go back. Look, altcoin season, 2 cycles ago. Altcoin season, 1 cycle ago. We are not in altcoin season yet. We are not. However, this is the joy that is coming. Yeah, so all the whining on crypto Twitter, all the fussing, all the this cycle sucks, this is the worst cycle in history, is basically by people who don't know where they are in the cycle, have zero patience, and are greedy. Yeah. I mean, when you can, everything is played out in accordance. Everything. Bitcoin dominance, it's lost it. It's done that every cycle. Ethereum now has dominance, just like it has every other cycle. So the transition is there. Everything's in place. And I'm going to zoom in on this because we have a nice macro bottom being formed. Look at this. This is what you want to see. Beautiful. So what has to happen down here? We have a nice bottom being formed. So altcoin dominance is still bottoming. It's still forming. We have kind of an area over here. What's going to happen is this is a nice ascending price action in a pinch. This is probably going to break out, test the chart. So this is a chart. This means a change of character. You need a chart to have a reversal of a trend. What is the trend? The trend is down. Yeah. You're in a downtrend. There's been no reversal. We have a bottom formation and a downtrend. Yep. Now, to have a reversal of the trend, we need this horizontal to break out. Hold as support. And then, my friends, I will allow you to say alt season. And this, all the lows will be gone. You will not have these prices again, ever, 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 ever. It's that simple, guys. When you know where you are, you chill, you stay at peace, you put in the work. I don't want to hear crap when altcoins go green in this chart. I don't want to hear, I wish I would have, I should have. I don't want to hear none of that stuff. You have had all the time in the world to establish your portfolio and be and buy and do and all that good stuff. Because once this thing charges, it's only higher prices from there. But we are not in altcoin season. Whoo! All right, guys, that's a good video. I think that covers it. Not a whole lot has changed. Let the market be the market. Until next time, baby, here comes the boom.